Hello everyone, my name is Heidi Martinez and today I'm going to be talking to you about organ trafficking in the United States. What is organ trafficking? Organ trafficking, or also known as organ trade, entails the recruitment, transport, transfer, harboring, or receptive persons by means of threat or use of force or other form of coercion, of abduction, of fraud, of deception, of the abuse of power, of a position of vulnerability, of the giving or receiving of payments or benefit to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person, or the purpose of exploitation by the removal of organs, tissues, or cells for transportation. As you can tell, organ trafficking and human trafficking almost have a similar meaning. Why does organ trafficking even happen? Organ trafficking happens for the simplest reason of supply and demand. In the United States and most developed nations internationally have banned the sale of organs, but in the black market it continues to flourish due to so little legal possibilities of receiving a needed organ. For instance, in 2016 alone, 119,362 people were on the waiting list for organs in the United States, while only 15,947 organ donors were available. The black market, defined as an underground economy where illegal trading of goods that are not allowed to be bought or sold, or that are not enough of for everyone who wants them. The black market is where most organs get trafficked and sold for quite an amount of money. Here is where the donor's organs, tissues, body parts get sold to the highest bidder, and regardless of the donor's health, well-being, or even livelihood. As you can see from the picture I provided, corneas go for 30,000, lungs from 150,000, heart 130,000, liver 98,000, and kidneys up to 62,000. Legislator in the United States. As I mentioned earlier, organ trafficking is illegal and banned from most countries, including the United States. So I attached here a couple of laws that pertain to organ trafficking and organ donorship in order to prevent organ trafficking. Can we prevent organ trafficking in the U.S.? As I mentioned before, organ trafficking is illegal. The United States banned the sale of organs under the National Organ Transplant Act of 1984, NOTA, but since then there has only been one documented case of an organ trafficker here in the United States compared to the thousands across the world. The U.S. did not prosecute those who paid for the illegal kidneys and only prosecuted lightly the organ trafficker. In reality, the most we can do to prevent organ trafficking is educating people in the benefits of becoming legal organ donors. It is also being vigilant of our surroundings and not letting ourselves be victims. Although the whole scenario of going out, getting drunk, and waking up the next day in a bathtub filled with ice of your hotel and noticing a huge infected scar across your body is less likely to happen in the United States, don't believe that millions of people don't become victims or purposely donate for the exchange of money and go unreported. We as citizens, should we see something, we should say something in order to stop this from happening. The first convicted and documented organ trafficker in the United States. It was 2009. The first documented case of organ trafficking in the United States. In New York, New Jersey, Levi Ishak Rosenbaum, who's nicknamed himself the Matchmaker, was the first caught organ trafficker in the United States. He considered himself the matchmaker because he would buy organs, specifically kidneys, from Israel for about $10,000 and sold them to desperate patients or family of desperate patients for as much as $160,000. An undercover FBI agent ended up in Levi's Brooklyn, New York basement asking for a kidney for his made-up ill uncle, which is where his matchmaking was caught after decades of organ trafficking by an FBI sting operation that definitely rocked the transplant industry. The matchmaker was able to obtain the Israeli kidneys by bringing those donors to the United States and having surgeons perform surgery to remove their kidneys in United States hospitals, which were unable to be traced by the sting operation. Due to lack of evidence of his previous trafficking, they were only able to charge him for 3 illegal transplants, which he pled guilty for and was sentenced 2.5 years in prison in 2012 and has now been released. The moral dilemma. Many, including the United States' first documented organ trafficker, believed what he was doing was the right thing to do, sort of the Robin Hood complex. He bragged about how many people he had matched and how many transplants they will never know about. Many people die because of the lack of organs in comparison to the amount of people needing those organs. Many people believe that giving some compensation here in the United States for organs such as kidneys would definitely destroy the dangers of the black market organs and benefit the amount of people waiting on an organ receipt list like UNOS, the United Network for Organ Sharing. After listening to my presentation, what do you believe should be done to stop organ trafficking?